When Catherine finally said no to her billionaire husband, one slap exposed 6 years of terror, betrayal, and lies. But his cruel mistress, Victoria, was hiding an even darker plan, one that turned abuse into murder. This story reminds us, silence protects monsters, but courage can save lives. Support our channel with one like and one share for more powerful stories. Thanks for watching.
Jonathan backhanded Catherine with such force that she reeled into the marble credenza. A crystal vase shattered. Victoria Croft stood in the doorway, wine in hand, wearing a look of pure, twisted delight. She sipped her drink, savoring the violence like a private show. Catherine pressed fingers to her bleeding lip, tasting copper and shame. Jonathan cracked his knuckles, turning to Victoria with a smirk that turned Catherine's stomach. Things shattered right there. Before we finish this, subscribe and hit the bell for updates. You need to stay until the very end because the twist is insane. Comment your city below so I can see where you are watching from. The night started 3 hours earlier with the fake politeness that was Catherine's daily uniform. She wore a navy silk dress. Jonathan covered the bruises on her arm with makeup and walked down the stairs like a performer. The investor, Richard Henley, was due at 7:30. Jonathan's orders were simple: smile, be charming, stay quiet, pour the wine, look pretty, act like the perfect couple. Catherine nodded, staring past his shoulder to avoid looking at him. Looking meant seeing the man she married 6 years ago and realizing he never really existed. The Jonathan she loved was a lie, a mask he wore just long enough to steal her father's wealth. She moved through the kitchen. Her heels clicked on the tile with perfect timing. The staff read her mood by her posture, working faster than ever to ensure Jonathan found no faults tonight. Maria, the housekeeper, grabbed her hand. "Sonora, you do not have to do this." Catherine gave a sad, warm squeeze. "I do. What choice did she have?" He controlled the accounts and had systematically destroyed all her friendships. He told everyone she was losing her mind. Poor Catherine is so unstable. He took her keys, her cards, and her phone, replacing it with one he monitored. He knew her every move. When she tried calling her father, Jonathan beat her until she saw stars. Then he made her apologize for being sneaky. The investor arrived right on time, a kind man in his 60s with a warm laugh. Catherine greeted him with her empty public smile. She took his coat and led him to the drawing room. Jonathan was already 2 bourbons deep, wearing his most charming fake expression. Then Victoria appeared. She stepped from the study in a dress that cost a fortune, looking like she owned the place. Catherine's hand shook as she poured the wine. She gripped the bottle hard. Jonathan saw it. He always saw everything. His eyes locked onto her trembling hand, then her face promising pain later. "Richard, I don't think you have met Victoria Croft," Jonathan said, ushering her into a seat right across from Catherine. "Victoria is invaluable to our expansion," he added. "I don't know what I would do without her." The message was clear. Victoria mattered. Catherine did not. Victoria smiled at Richard, showing way too many teeth. "Jonathan is too kind, though I do pride myself on knowing exactly what he needs." Air turned thick with poison. Catherine sat frozen, clutching the wine bottle like a weapon she was too scared to use. Richard looked worried, his eyes darting between Jonathan's possessive hand on Victoria and Catherine's blank face. Dinner was a masterclass in cruelty. Jonathan seated Victoria to his right and pushed Catherine to the far end of the table. He talked only to Victoria. He smiled only at Victoria. Catherine was officially invisible. When Richard tried to ask Catherine about art history, Jonathan cut her off immediately. "Catherine used to be into art, but she is focused on home life now. Haven't you, darling?" It wasn't a question, it was an order. Catherine nodded and stayed silent for the rest of the meal. Victoria watched her like a cat toying with a trapped mouse. The breaking point finally came at dessert. Maria had made Catherine's favorite lavender creme brulee. When it arrived, Catherine felt a tiny flicker of joy. It was a reminder that she was still human. Jonathan noticed. He saw her shoulders drop, reached over, and snatched the dish away, sliding it to Victoria. "Victoria has such a sweet tooth," he said, staring right at her. "You do not mind, do you, Catherine? You are always so generous." Catherine felt something inside her snap. She opened her mouth and heard herself say, "Actually, I do mind." The silence was deafening. Richard stopped eating. Maria froze. Victoria leaned back, looking excited, while Jonathan set his wine glass down with a sharp click that echoed like a gunshot. Excuse me?" Catherine's heart hammered in her throat, but she held his gaze. "I said I mind. Maria made that for me. I would like to eat it." Jonathan laughed, but there was zero humor in it. He was calculating how to crush her in front of everyone. "Catherine, you are being rude." "Apologize to Victoria?" "No." The word hung in the air. Victoria looked thrilled. Richard pushed back his chair, his gut telling him to get out, while Jonathan stood up, scraping his chair loudly across the floor. Richard, I apologize. My wife is under a lot of stress, Victoria. Why don't you show Richard the garden while he talked to Catherine? Richard tried to speak, but Victoria was already moving, guiding him out the door with practiced ease. She looked back once, meeting Catherine's eyes with a cold message. This is your fault. You should have stayed quiet. The second the door shut, Jonathan moved. He grabbed her arm, yanking her up until she hit the table. His face was inches from hers, reeking of bourbon. Do you have any idea what you just did? That deal was worth millions, and you decide now to grow a spine? She tried to pull away, but he dug his fingers into her bruises. Jonathan, you are hurting me. He just laughed, that cold, brittle sound, Catherine. I haven't even started. You want to embarrass me before a $50 million investor? Let me show you some games. He dragged her into the drawing room and shoved her hard. She slammed into the credenza. The vase crashed down, shattering into 1,000 pieces. Glass shards spread across the floor like frozen tears. Catherine scrambled up, dress torn, hair a mess. She backed toward the fireplace, desperate for any exit. Jonathan blocked the way. Behind him, Victoria appeared in the doorway alone. Richard Henley was gone. Victoria pulled out her phone. For a second, Catherine hoped for help. Then she saw the red light blinking. Victoria was filming. Jonathan, what are you doing? Catherine tried to keep her voice steady. Victoria is recording us. I know, Jonathan snapped. Let her record the truth about what a pathetic, ungrateful wife you are. He stepped closer. Catherine held up her hands, praying he would listen to reason. Just let me go upstairs. We can talk tomorrow when you are calm. Calm, his voice turned into a roar. You think this is about me? This is about you learning your place. The first slap came so fast, she could not even flinch. Her head snapped back. She tasted blood as her teeth cut her cheek. She staggered but stayed standing, clutching her burning face. In the doorway, Victoria adjusted her angle for a better shot, watching with sick fascination. This is for embarrassing me, Jonathan said, his tone suddenly conversational. This is for defying me. The second blow was harder, a closed fist that caught her temple and sent her flying. She hit the floor, gasping for air through a blur. She saw her own blood staining the white marble. Victoria laughed, a sharp, glass-breaking sound. Oh my God, this is perfect. Catherine tried to crawl away, hands sliding in her blood, but Jonathan grabbed her hair and jerked her head back. Where do you think you are going? We are nowhere near done. He yanked her up. She saw him reach for his belt. The leather whispered as he pulled it free. Catherine felt something inside simply shut down. This was it. She was going to die here, in her own home, a $75 million estate, while her husband's mistress filmed the end. Jonathan, please. Her voice was just a broken whisper. I am sorry. Please do not do this. He did not hear her. The belt lashed across her shoulders. The pain was white-hot. She screamed, and Victoria just laughed again. The strikes kept coming, time to Jonathan's heavy breathing and Victoria's sick cheering. That is right. Show her who is in charge. I love watching you take control. She needs to learn, Jonathan. Catherine curled into a ball on the floor, unable to take any more. She pressed her face against the cold stone, praying for darkness. Blood soaked her dress. Her back felt like it was on fire. She heard Victoria's footsteps. The phone camera moved closer, capturing her humiliation in perfect detail. The camera, Catherine. Victoria crooned. Let everyone see what happens to wives who forget their place. Catherine kept her eyes shut tight. Suddenly the front door opened. Footsteps echoed. A voice rang out, one that made her heart stop cold. Catherine, where are you? It was her father, William Sterling. Jonathan froze, the belt still high in the air. Victoria's phone wavered, her confidence turning to doubt. Catherine looked up and saw her father standing in the doorway. Silence filled the room. William Sterling took in the scene with the cold precision of a man who built a $50 billion empire from nothing. His bleeding daughter, the belt, the woman with the phone, the broken glass, he processed every single detail in one heartbeat. His voice was low and lethal, the kind of quiet that meant a business was about to die. Jonathan put down the belt. Jonathan lowered his arm, looking defiant. William, this is between me and my wife, a private matter. Private? William stepped forward, forcing both of them to back away. Her father carried a natural authority that made size meaningless. A woman is filming my daughter being beaten in my house, and you call this private? Your house? Jonathan let out a bitter laugh. I think you mean my house. Catherine and I live here. This is our home. William smiled, and it was terrifying. Catherine had seen that smile before, usually right before a rival lost everything. Jonathan, did you ever read the property deed? Or did you just assume that marrying my daughter gave you ownership? Jonathan turned pale. What are you talking about? The estate belongs to the Sterling Trust. You live here at my discretion. This is literally my house, and I want you out now." Victoria tried to sneak away, but William turned on her with surgical speed. "And you, give me that phone." "I do not think so," Victoria stammered, trying to sound tough. "It is my property. You are in my house filming my daughter without consent, which is illegal wiretapping in Connecticut. Hand over the phone, or I will have you arrested and let the police seize it as evidence. Your choice. You have 5 seconds." Victoria looked to Jonathan for help, but he was staring at William, watching his whole world crumble. She thrust the phone at William and bolted. The front door slammed. William finally knelt beside Catherine. His hand on her shoulder was so gentle that she started to break down. She sobbed, her battered ribs aching. "I am sorry, Daddy. I am so sorry. I did not want you to see this." "Shh! We are going to get you to a hospital, Maria," he called out with absolute authority. "Call an ambulance. Now." "That is not necessary," Jonathan pleaded. "William, we can handle this, Catherine. Tell him you are fine." William did not even glance at him. He helped Catherine sit up, shielding her with his own suit jacket without a second thought. "Jonathan, leave this house. Go to a hotel. Do not speak a word about tonight. Monday morning, my lawyers will call. Retain your own counsel. You cannot do this." Jonathan stuttered. The protest sounded hollow. "Catherine is my wife. This is my marriage. You cannot just interfere." William finally looked at him. Jonathan flinched back from the cold fury in his eyes. "I can do anything I want. You forgot who holds the real power. Your job at Sterling Global is gone. The bonuses end today. The cars, the club memberships, the expense accounts, everything. You married my daughter thinking you were buying power, but you forgot one thing. The money is mine. The power is mine. I protect what is mine." The ambulance arrived 12 minutes later. Paramedics loaded Catherine, documenting every injury with cold precision. Face and temple bruises, lacerations across her back, a possible concussion, and broken ribs. Wheeled her out, she saw Jonathan in the foyer, looking small, furious, and lost. Maria sobbed in the kitchen. Meanwhile, her father stood by, issuing crisp, lethal orders that began the systematic destruction of Jonathan Sterling. In the back of the ambulance, hooked to an IV, Catherine finally asked, "How did you know to come?" William held her hand tight. "Richard Henley called me. He said dinner was a nightmare, that your husband was cruel, and he heard shouting when he left. Something was wrong. I drove as fast as I could. I should have been here sooner, months ago." Catherine whispered that she did not want him to worry. William countered, "Worrying is my job. I failed you, but I promise I never will again. Jonathan Sterling will regret ever touching you. By the time I am finished, he will wish he never heard the Sterling name." As the ambulance hit the hospital entrance, Catherine closed her eyes, hoping this nightmare was over. She was wrong. It was not ending. It was evolving into a war. Catherine realized she inherited more than her father's wealth. She inherited his terrifying surgical capacity for revenge. The hospital room felt sterile and hollow, but she barely felt it. She lay on her side to avoid the bandages, covering 15 distinct belt marks. The doctor had counted them all. Her father sat nearby, phone pressed to his ear, his voice quiet, cold, and absolutely lethal. "The judge if you have to. I want a restraining order filed by 8 a.m. Monday. Emergency order tonight. My daughter was beaten by her husband while his mistress filmed it." "That cannot wait," Catherine cried as a tear crossed her purple, swollen bruise. Her real phone, confiscated by Jonathan months ago, sat on the table. Her father had retrieved it from the study, safe alongside her passport, credit cards, and legal files she never knew existed. Prenuptials, trusts, and property deeds. Her entire life was just paper, proving she never truly owned anything. Her father covered her hand, his touch warm. "The nurse is bringing pain relief. Please try to rest." Catherine broke down, whispering, "I cannot go back. I just cannot. You are never going back. I packed your things."
"Maria is moving everything to the penthouse right now. He will come after me. She feared you do not know him."
William scoffed. "If he thinks he can keep his meal ticket, let him come." William's voice turned to ice, the same tone that destroyed corporate rivals. "I have filed for an emergency protective order. Security is stationed at every Sterling property. I have called in every favor I own. Jonathan cannot even sneeze without me knowing." The nurse arrived with pills and a sad, knowing smile. She had seen the photos. She had heard Catherine's statement to the advocate, documented with a thoroughness that proved this happened far too often to the wealthy. Domestic violence looks different in a $75 million mansion, but the bruises remain the same. Catherine swallowed the medicine, feeling reality soften. She was drifting off when her father's phone rang again. He answered, listened for 30 seconds, and said something that made Catherine bolt upright. How much did she get? He paused, listening. Send everything to my encrypted email. Every angle, every second. Find out if she made copies. He met Catherine's eyes. That was Marcus, my head of security. He caught Victoria Croft before she left town. He stopped her for a broken taillight. She had no damage when she arrived. William smiled, but she did. After Marcus finished, they seized her phone as evidence. She tried to claim the Fifth Amendment, but Connecticut wiretap laws are absolute. She committed a felony, and now I hold the only copy of that video. What will you do with it, insurance? Jonathan will try to frame you as unstable, but that video proves the truth. It shows him beating you. It shows her laughing. It is premeditated conspiracy. If he fights the divorce, that video is our opening move. Catherine felt something shift, something dormant and forgotten. It felt like hope, but sharp, dangerous, and angry. I want to destroy him. William squeezed her hand. Good. That is exactly what we will do. She slept fitfully, waking every time the nurse checked the IV. Each time she opened her eyes, her father was there working on his laptop or making hushed calls that suggested he had fully mobilized the Sterling Global legal team. By morning, sunlight streamed in as a new doctor arrived. Mrs. Sterling, I am Dr. Patricia Volov. I have been consulting on your care. The good news is you have no broken bones. The concussion is mild. The lacerations will heal, though you may have scarring on your back. We can minimize that later. You will be physically fine. Catherine caught the hesitation. Mentally, Dr. Volov sat down. Her expression kind but direct. You survived severe violence. Psychological trauma does not vanish when wounds heal. I want to refer you to Dr. Sarah Chen, an expert in trauma therapy for abuse. I think it would help. I do not need therapy. I need a divorce lawyer. You need both, William interjected. I have already spoken to Dr. Chen. Catherine wanted to argue, to claim she was strong, but she felt hollowed out. She felt completely empty, save for her rage and humiliation. She nodded, taking the business card, and watched her father add it to the growing stack of papers that defined her new life. They discharged her 3 hours later. She had prescriptions she knew she would never take. Sleeping meant nightmares of Jonathan S. face. Her father S. driver pulled up to a private exit to avoid the photographers who somehow found out she was admitted. Someone had leaked it for cash. The penthouse took up the top 3 floors of a Tribeca building. William bought 15 years ago. She had been here often. But today felt different. This was not a visit. This was a fortress. She was here to rebuild herself into someone who could fight back. Maria was there, directing staff as they unpacked. When Maria saw Catherine, her face fell, and she stepped forward, terrified of hurting her. Nora, what he did to you. I am okay, Maria, really. Catherine forced a painful smile. Thank you for packing my things. Was Jonathan there? Mr. Jonathan left right after the ambulance, Maria said. He packed one bag and drove away, like the devil himself was chasing him. Maria sounded smug. Good riddance. William entered, his phone pressed to his ear like it was glued there. Catherine, look at this. He spun his laptop around. It was a divorce petition, fresh from his lawyers. Read it. See if anything needs changing. Catherine scanned the pages. The words felt like someone else's nightmare. Extreme cruelty, physical abuse, adultery. Seeing it in cold legal ink made the horror feel even more real than living it. No mention of Victoria. She is being handled. Criminal charges are coming for that illegal recording. My investigators are digging into her past, too. Something feels off, and I need to know who my son-in-law brought into our home. What do you mean off? William's face turned stony. Victoria Croft claims she runs a marketing firm. My people checked. It is a lie. The website was built 6 months ago. No clients, no portfolio. Her LinkedIn lists 3 former bosses, but 2 never heard of her. The 3rd company went bust 5 years ago. She is a ghost. Catherine felt a chill. So, who is she? I am finding out, my guess. A con artist who saw Jonathan as an easy target. She wanted his money, or maybe she planned to push him to leave you so she could take your place. Did not count on me. A phone buzzed, but it was not William S. It was Catherine S., the one she had kept hidden. She checked at 47 missed calls from Jonathan, a stream of texts that started as apologies and turned into pure threats. Catherine, I am sorry. Come home. Your father is overreacting. I barely touched you. You are being dramatic. Answer your phone. We need to talk like adults. If you think you will take me for everything in this divorce, you are delusional. I will fight you on every point. You are making a huge mistake. I can ruin you. I know things is about you and your family. Your father cannot protect you. Eventually, you will be alone, and I will be waiting. Catherine's hands shook. Every message felt like a new violation. William took the phone and forwarded everything to a private address that goes to the police and the lawyers. Every threat is evidence. He is digging his own grave without even realizing it, he said. He knows things about us. What does that mean? William's jaw tightened. He is just grasping at straws to scare you. There is nothing to find, Catherine. Our business is clean. Our money is transparent. Jonathan is bluffing because he has nothing left. But Catherine saw a flicker in her father's eyes, a micro-expression that suggested he was not being entirely honest. Before she could ask, his phone rang again. He answered, and his posture shifted instantly. "Tell me you have something." He listened for 2 minutes, his face darkening with every word. When he finally spoke, his voice was filled with controlled rage. "Are you certain you verified this yourself?" A pause. "It all. Photos, bank records, everything." He hung up and looked at Catherine with a mix of protective fury and pity. "What is it?" Victoria Croft is not her name. It is Victoria Castellano. She has been married 3 times. The first husband went bankrupt after she drained his accounts. The second is in prison for embezzlement. She set him up. The third died in an accidental fall down the stairs. She inherited everything. The life insurance was over $2 million. Catherine's stomach turned. "You think she killed him?" "I think she is a professional predator. She targets wealthy men, embeds herself in their lives, and destroys them. She chose Jonathan because she saw a weak man married to a wealthy woman. She was playing the long game. She wanted him to leave you and marry her so she could get to his fortune. The problem? Nothing Jonathan has belongs to him. It all belongs to me, held in trusts she could never crack. So I was just collateral damage. She pushed him to abuse me, so I would leave and she could move in. I think she encouraged the abuse to film it and use it as blackmail. If she had video of a felony, she could own him. She could have used it to force a quick divorce and a massive payout, making him look like the victim. She was building leverage." Catherine too fast, clutching the chair as pain shot through her ribs. "I need air. I need out. I feel like the walls are closing in. You cannot leave. Jonathan has been parked outside your old building for hours. He knows you are gone, but he is waiting. Plus, the press is circling. Page 6 has a blind item about a socialite wife with suspicious injuries. It is only a matter of time before they name you. So, what do I do? Hide? Let him control me even more? No, I would rather face him in the light than live one more second in fear." William studied her, and she saw a flash of pride. "We go on the offensive, we stop reacting, and start controlling the story. I will call the PR team. We release a statement on our terms. You are not a victim hiding in shame. You are a survivor, taking back your power. But Catherine, there is no going back. This will be public. Your entire life will be public. The marriage, the abuse, the divorce, it all becomes fodder for the tabloids. Are you ready?" Catherine thought about Jonathan's face as the belt came down. She thought about Victoria's laughter. She thought about 6 years of being dismantled piece by piece. "I am ready. Let us burn it all down." The PR team arrived within the hour, 3 sharp experts who had handled everything from political scandals to celebrity breakups. They set up in the dining room, tablets out, monitoring social media for any mention of her name. "The key is controlling the narrative before someone else does," said Jennifer Park, the lead strategist. "Right now, it is just rumors. When the story breaks, and it will, your voice must be the loudest. We position you as resilient, not broken. We make it clear that Jonathan Sterling is an abuser who is about to face the consequences." "Will that hurt a trial?" Catherine asked. Jennifer glanced at William. "There will be no trial. Jonathan cannot afford one. We are going to make the evidence so overwhelming that his only option is to settle on our terms. We move fast and we move hard. No mercy." "Do that?" Catherine looked at the bruise on her wrist and the defensive cuts on her palms. "What do you need me to do? Tell me everything. Every threat. Every moment of control. I need dates. I need proof. Names of friends he isolated you from, family members he blocked, bank records showing how he controlled your cash, phone logs of his monitoring. I need it all, Catherine, because we are building a case. An airtight case that will leave Jonathan Sterling no choice but to surrender." So, Catherine talked. For 3 hours she spoke, her voice breaking but never stopping, detailing a prison disguised as a marriage. She started with the first time he yelled at her, just 6 weeks after their wedding. She opened up about the first time he grabbed her arm hard enough to leave bruises just 3 months in, all because she dared laugh at another man's joke. She detailed the systematic way he erased her friends, her hobbies, her very self. She spoke of the affair with Victoria, how he flaunted her, bringing his mistress into their home and their bed, forcing Catherine to sleep in the guest room while Victoria claimed her life. Jennifer's team compiled everything. Calendar entries, social posts, and bank receipts mapped a clear, chilling path of control. By the time Catherine finished, the sun had vanished and her voice was a wreck. "This is heavy stuff," Jennifer said, her face grim. "But it is also powerful. This is a textbook case for prosecutors. Catherine, with your go-ahead, I want to pitch this to a major outlet. Someone with gravitas. Someone who will let you tell your truth without turning it into a circus. I'm thinking Gayle King or Anderson Cooper. Someone who treats this with the weight it deserves. Absolutely not. William's voice cracked like a whip. She is not doing any interviews. This stays in legal filings. With respect, Mr. Sterling, that is a mistake. The public will see her eventually in court. Wouldn't you rather control the first impression? Let her own the narrative before the tabloids twist it. My daughter is not content for ratings. She will not parade her trauma on national TV. Catherine stood wincing as her stitches pulled. Actually, I want to do it. William turned stunned. Catherine asked him, how many women are trapped right now, terrified to leave because they think no one will believe them? How many assume domestic abuse only happens to the poor or uneducated? I had every advantage, yet I was trapped for 6 long years. If I can show them this happens to anyone, that it is not their fault, that there is way out, doesn't that matter? Jennifer nodded, eyes lighting up. That is the angle. Catherine Sterling, daughter of a billionaire, living in a mansion, yet still a prisoner in her own home. It shatters every stereotype. It forces the world to see that money, status, and privilege cannot protect you from violence. Staying has nothing to do with weakness. William fell silent, rubbing his face in a way Catherine remembered from her childhood. It was his tell he was fighting a decision he hated but knew was necessary. He looked at her and said, if you want to do this, I am behind you. But the second it gets too heavy. We stop. Agreed, agreed. Jennifer grabbed her phone, already dialing. I am calling Anderson Cooper's producer. We will pitch it as a worldwide exclusive Catherine story, in her words. We air at Sunday prime time, right before the divorce papers hit the public record Monday morning. By the time Jonathan wakes up, the whole country will know exactly what he did. 2 days later, Catherine sat in a Manhattan studio, makeup masking the worst of the bruises, wearing a soft gray sweater that looked vulnerable yet strong. Anderson Cooper sat opposite her, compassionate but clinical. Between them hung a story about to tear across every news feed in America. Catherine, thank you for being here. I know this is hard as it is, she said, surprised by the strength in her own voice. But it is necessary. For too long, shame and fear kept me quiet. That silence almost cost me my life. Anderson leaned in. Tell me what happened 3 nights ago. Catherine told him everything. As cameras rolled, Jonathan Sterling sat in a Connecticut hotel room, watching his world burn in high definition, seeing millions of viewers learn exactly what kind of monster he really was. Victoria Castellano, hiding in her lawyer's office after news of the criminal probe broke, realized her grift targeting wealthy men had hit a brick wall. And William Sterling, watching from his penthouse with security on high alert, allowed himself a thin, dangerous smile of satisfaction. The war was on, and they had just fired a shot heard around the globe. The interview aired at 9 p.m. By 9:15, Catherine's phone was blowing up. She sat on the penthouse sofa beside her father, watching the screen as Anderson Cooper narrated footage of their massive estate. The mansion looked cold and sinister under the evening sky. That beautiful house became my prison, Catherine heard herself say. The woman on screen looked like her, but sounded stronger, clearer, and more certain than she had felt in years. My husband systematically cut me off from the entire world. He took my phone, my keys, my money. He tracked my every step, and if I tried to push back, if I showed even a shred of independence, he punished me. Anderson's face filled the frame, and that punishment turned physical. It started small, a grab that was too rough. A shove into a wall. He would always apologize, crying, saying he loved me too much, that it was just emotion. I believed him because I wanted to. Admitting the truth meant admitting I had made a massive mistake in marrying him. William squeezed her hand on screen. Anderson asked about the night 3 days ago. Catherine watched her own face harden as she recounted Jonathan's rage and Victoria's sick laughter. The network blurred the photos of her injuries, but they showed enough: the bruising, the split lip, the bandages. Victoria Croft, your husband's mistress, was filming the attack. Why do you think she did that? On screen, Catherine paused. Back on the couch, she remembered the media coach's advice: stay calm, stick to the facts. I think she was building leverage, she said. I think she planned to blackmail my husband or force me into a divorce that paid her off. She didn't count on my father arriving and taking that phone. Your father, William Sterling, is a titan of industry. Some critics claim you only escaped because of your family's massive wealth. What do you say to women who have none of those resources? The Catherine on screen looked straight into the lens. The Catherine on the couch felt tears well up, remembering her next words. I had every advantage, and I was still trapped for 6 years. I had money, status, and family. Yet I was still stuck because abuse does not care about your net worth, but resources do matter. That is why I am announcing the Sterling Foundation tonight. We will provide legal aid, emergency housing, and counseling for survivors who need a way out. Because everyone deserves the protection my father gave me, regardless of what is in their bank account. William turned to her, eyes wide. You did not tell me you were announcing a foundation. I know. I wanted it to be real, not just a soundbite. I worked with Jennifer this morning to set the framework. I am putting 10 million of my trust into it to start more. We'll come after the divorce. Dad, do not try to talk me out of it. This is the first choice I have made for myself in 6 years, and I am not backing down. William smiled a real, genuine smile she had not seen in ages. I'm not going to stop you. I was going to say, I will match your 10 million, 20 million should make a real impact. Catherine's phone buzzed. She looked a message from Sarah Chan, her therapist, watching the interview. So proud of your progress in just 3 days. Call if you need to talk. The second message made her blood run cold. It was from an unknown number, but the venom was obvious. You stupid idiot, you just destroyed both our lives. I hope you are happy. I hope it was worth it when you are left with absolutely nothing. Jonathan. William's phone buzzed before Catherine could show him the text. He answered, listened for 10 seconds, then stood abruptly. Someone hurt? He paused. I am on my way. Triple the security and call the police. He hung up and turned to Catherine, face ashen. Jonathan just hit the Greenwich house. He is trying to force his way in back. Security has them, but he is screaming that the house belongs to him. He will not leave empty-handed. Catherine felt ice water in her veins. He knows where I am. He just texted me. William grabbed her phone, read it, and dialed. Get to the Tribeca penthouse now with a full team. Jonathan is making threats. I need Catherine protected. He turned back to her, grabbing his coat. I have to go deal with this. You are not staying alone. Maria is here. Marcus is bringing 3 guards to watch you until I return. Do not open the door. Stay inside, you understand. What are you going to do? I am giving your husband one chance to walk away quietly. Then I destroy him. William rushed out in a cloud of cologne and fury. Catherine sat alone in the penthouse, her own interview playing to nobody. She killed the TV. Silence filled the room, punctuated only by distant Manhattan traffic 40 stories down. Maria hovered in the doorway, wringing her hands. Sonora, please eat. You barely touched dinner. I am not hungry. You need your strength for what is coming. You must stay strong. Catherine studied the woman who had been like a mother since hers died when Catherine was 12. Maria, why didn't you tell me how bad it was? You saw what he was doing. You knew. Maria's face crumbled. I tried, Sonora. I tried so hard, but he threatened me. If I spoke to your father or helped you, he would have me deported. My sister, my nieces, we are here on visas. Mr. Sterling sponsored. Jonathan promised to send us all back to Mexico. I am ashamed. I should have been braver. You were protecting your family. I understand. Catherine stood and pulled Maria into a gentle hug, careful of her own healing back. You packed my bags when it counted. You got me out. That took real courage. A phone rang, not hers, not Maria's, the landline. A device Catherine had forgotten even existed. Maria answered cautiously, then held it out with a shaking hand. It is for you, a woman named Victoria. Catherine's instinct was to hang up and block it, but anger, or maybe curiosity, took over. She grabbed the phone. What do you want? Victoria's voice came through. Stripped of the sultry confidence from that dinner, she sounded frantic. I need to talk to you. Alone. It is vital. You filmed my husband beating me, and now you want to chat. Are you insane? I did not know he would go that far. I swear I thought he was just going to yell. When he grabbed the belt, he blocked the door. He made me film it. Catherine laughed, the sound sharp as a blade. You are lying. You laughed while he hit me. I heard you. You said, this is perfect. Total silence then. Victoria's voice returned smaller. Okay, yes. I laughed because I was terrified. I did not know what else to do. I laughed because Jonathan gets violent when things do not go his way. I had to make him think I was on his side. You do not know what he is capable of, Catherine. I know exactly what he is capable of. I was married to him for 6 years. Then you know he will not just quit. He will fight. And when he fights, people get hurt. I have information, things your father needs to know. Things that could keep you safe. Catherine tightened her grip on the phone. What? Information. Not over the phone. Meet me somewhere public tomorrow morning. There is a coffee shop on. I am not meeting you anywhere. Give the files to my father's lawyers. They would love to hear from you, especially since you are facing felony charges for illegally recording me. Those charges vanish if I cooperate. My lawyer already cut a deal. I testify against Jonathan in the divorce. I hand over all his business records. The district attorney drops the wiretap charges to a misdemeanor. Catherine felt the room tilt. What records? Jonathan works for my father. He has no other business. That is what you think? That is what your father thinks. But Jonathan has been running his own show for 3 years. Embezzlement, fraud, money laundering. He has been using the Sterling name and your father's contacts to run deals that have nothing to do with the company. Sure, the paper trail pointed to William Sterling, not him. The words hit Catherine like a physical weight. You are lying. You want to lure me into a trap? Hurt me? Film me again? I am not that stupid, Victoria. I am trying to save our lives. Jonathan called me 2 hours ago after your interview aired. He said, you and your father declared war. And war means casualties, he said. If he goes down, he is taking everyone with him. You and I are at the top of his list, Catherine. I am terrified of him. I think he might actually kill us. Catherine heard the guards arriving in the foyer. Marcus was barking orders. She felt a bit safer, but Victoria's warning had planted a seed of doubt. If you have evidence, why not go to the police? Because some of these people make Jonathan look like a schoolboy. I am talking about organized crime, money laundering for people who do not tolerate witnesses. If I go to the cops without a full immunity deal, I am dead, so I cut a deal with your father's team. I get protection. They get the truth. It is self-preservation. Send the proof to the attorneys. Email it. Mail it. I am not meeting you. The evidence is in a safe deposit box. The key is in my apartment, and my home is being watched by people who are definitely not the police. I cannot go back there alone. You are the only person who needs this evidence gone as much as I do. Catherine rubbed her temples, feeling a headache coming on. Why would I trust you? You participated in my abuse. You enjoyed it. Give me one reason to believe you. Because your husband has a plan. If you do not listen, you will regret it. Jonathan has been prepping for years. Hidden offshore cash, fake identities, people who can make problems vanish. Right now, Catherine, you are his biggest problem. He is not just going to take this. He is going to strike back hard. The line went dead. Victoria hung up. Catherine stood there, holding a phone that suddenly felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Marcus appeared in the doorway, his massive frame filling the space. We have secured the perimeter. Mom, you are safe. Your father is calling from Greenwich. He wants to talk. Catherine took the phone with shaking hands. Daddy. Catherine, listen to me. Jonathan is under arrest. He attacked one of the guards trying to get in. Punched him, broke his nose. Greenwich police have him in custody now. Assault, trespassing, and violating the restraining order. No bail tonight. Relief hit Catherine so hard she had to sit down. He cannot reach me, not tonight. But Catherine, his lawyer, is already pushing for bail tomorrow. They are claiming he has deep ties here, the usual lies. The district attorney will fight it, but a judge might set conditions and let him out. House arrest, ankle monitors, no contact orders, just paper. Jonathan only fears consequences, and he's too far gone to care. Catherine replayed Victoria's warnings: organized crime, money laundering, the works. Victoria Croft just called me. A heavy, hollow silence followed. When William finally spoke, his voice dropped to a razor's edge. She says, Jonathan's running a criminal operation under Sterling Global, cooking the books to pin his fraud and laundering on you. She wants me to grab evidence from her place. No, stay away from her. It is a trap, that S. What I thought, but Daddy, what if it is true? What if he says frame you for his crimes? Her father let out a jagged breath, the sound of a man white-knuckling his temper. If Victoria has proof, she goes through the lawyers. My team is already in touch. She claims her apartment is being watched by people who aren't cops or our security team. Another long pause. Marcus will send a team to check it out. Stay put. Don't answer unknown numbers. Don't open the door for anyone but Marcus men. And if Victoria calls again, tell her all talk goes through the attorneys. Understand? Yes, I am stuck here dealing with the police, making sure these charges stick. Get some sleep. Tomorrow will be rough. Catherine hung up, handing the phone to Marcus. Ma'am, your father is right. You cannot trust Victoria. Croft, she's already tried to hurt you. I know that. But Marcus, what if Jonathan really is building a case to frame my father? Dad built Sterling Global from nothing. It is his legacy. If Jonathan tries to destroy it, we'll handle it. But we do it smart, not by walking into criminal traps. Marcus scanned the street 40 floors down. A rotating team of guards will be here all night. No one is getting to you tonight. Catherine nodded, but dread sat in her stomach like a cold stone. Maria helped her into pajamas and brought her meds, pills for the pain, though sleep felt impossible with her mind spinning. Stared at the ceiling, listening to the penthouse heartbeat. Heavy boots in the hall, radio chatter, the distant howl of sirens in Manhattan. She drifted off, only to wake at 4:37 to an unknown number. She should have ignored it, but her gut said to answer. Catherine Stursling, a man's voice, stiff and professional. Who is this? Detective Robert Marsh, Connecticut State Police. I am calling about your husband, Jonathan Sterling. There's been an incident. Catherine bolted upright, her heart thumping against her ribs. What kind of incident? Jonathan was in holding, waiting for arraignment. At 3:45 this morning, he suffered a severe sudden allergic reaction. Anaphylactic shock, ma'am. I am so sorry your husband died 20 minutes ago. The words wouldn't land. They made no sense. That's impossible. Jonathan doesn't have any allergies. The coroner will confirm it, but he seems to have ingested something he was deathly allergic to. We are checking security footage and interviewing everyone. Ma'am, I have to ask, where were you for the last 6 hours here at my father's penthouse with guards? Are you suggesting I did this? I am just gathering facts. Can anyone back up your story? 3 guards, my housekeeper, and 15 cameras. Detective, what are you implying? Your interview aired on national TV last night. Ma'am, you laid out serious allegations of abuse. Hours later, he's arrested. Now he's dead under suspicious circumstances. So we have to look at every possibility. Hysteria bubbled up in her chest. I wanted him to face the law. I wanted him to lose it all. I didn't want him dead. Death is too easy. It lets him off the hook. I understand. Is your father William Sterling with you? No, he's in Greenwich. Why? We need to speak to him. Ma'am, get a criminal lawyer immediately. This is a homicide investigation now. You and your father both had motive and opportunity. The call clicked off. Catherine sat in the dark, clutching her phone as her world collapsed. She escaped one hell just to land in another. This was worse. No closure, no justice, just a murder charge. And the police were looking at her. She stumbled into the living room, finding Marcus on a call of his own. At her, his face pale with shock. Your father is on his way from Greenwich, he says. Speak to no one, especially the police, until the lawyers arrive, Marcus. I didn't do this. I swear I know, ma'am. But someone did. And that someone just made this nightmare infinitely worse. Catherine sank onto the couch. Her abuser was gone. 6 years of terror vanished in a night she should have felt relief. Instead, she felt a sickening cold. Someone killed her husband inside a police station. Victorious words haunted her. Jonathan had friends who made problems disappear. Did he pull this off himself to frame her? Or was he killed because a dead Jonathan was more useful? The sun crawled over Manhattan, the golden light looking sick and wrong. Notifications flooded her phone, news alerts, conspiracy theories, strangers accusing her of murder. One thought circled in her head: she wanted to destroy him. But someone else beat her to the punch. Who and why? William walked in at 6:43, looking like he'd aged 10 years in a single night. His tie was loose, his hair a mess. When he locked eyes with her, she saw it: fear, real, raw fear. Tell me everything that detective said. Catherine told him the whole story while William paced, his jaw muscles jumping. He finished her account and dialed a number. Straight to voicemail. He tried 2 more. Finally, he got an answer. David, I don't care about the time. Get your best criminal defense team to my office in 1 hour. No, not corporate defense, murder defense. He listened closely. Right, murder. Jonathan is dead, and the police suspect me or Catherine. Get me the best homicide lawyers in the country. Money is no object. He hung up and turned to Catherine. You do not talk to the police without a lawyer. You do not talk to the press. Do not speak to anyone from now on. Everything you say will be twisted against you. I did not kill him, Daddy. You have to believe me. Of course I believe you. But it does not matter what I think. It matters what the prosecutor can prove or make a jury believe. And right now we handed them a motive on a silver platter. You went on national television and detailed years of abuse. You announced a divorce and a fight for his fortune. Then he turns up dead in jail, hours later. Any prosecutor would love a case this simple. Maria walked in with coffee that Catherine could not stomach but held for comfort. Sir, the news says Jonathan was poisoned. They think someone tainted his food. William stopped pacing. What food? He was in a holding cell. The news says a guard brought him takeout from a restaurant. They are questioning the guard now. He claims he just picked up an order. He had no idea anything was wrong. Catherine felt the pieces locking into place. Someone ordered food to the station, and the guard gave it to Jonathan without checking it, without asking who sent it. Guard claims. Jonathan used a cell phone to place the order himself. He gave the restaurant his card and said his lawyer was sending dinner. William's phone rang. He answered instantly. Talk to me. He listened for 2 minutes, his face turning cold and dark. Are you certain? Check it again. I need proof before we act. He hung up and stared at Catherine with an unreadable look. That was Marcus. His team pulled surveillance footage from near Victoria's place. She was not lying about being watched. Two men have been sitting in a car across the street for 18 hours. Marcus ran the plates. The car is tied to a shell company used by organized crime. So Victoria was telling the truth about Jonathan's criminal connections. It looks that way. We are not just dealing with a simple murder. We are dealing with organized crime, money laundering, and whatever else Jonathan was mixed up in. William sank into the couch, looking every one of his 62 years. Catherine, I need to tell you something. Something I kept quiet to protect you, but I should have been honest years ago. Catherine's heart sank. What is it? 2 years ago, my auditors found irregularities in several Sterling Global accounts. Small discrepancies that did not add up. I ordered a private investigation. The trail led straight to Jonathan. He had been siphoning company money in small amounts to avoid triggering alerts. Over 3 years, he stole $12 million. The number hit Catherine like a physical blow. $12 million. And you did not tell me? You did not have him arrested? I confronted him privately. He claimed it was for investments and that he would return it all with interest. I demanded every cent back in 6 months, or I would press charges. He agreed and started paying it back slowly. I thought the problem was solved. I thought he learned his lesson and we could move on without ruining your marriage over his ego. My marriage was already destroyed. He was hurting me while you were giving him second chances. William's face crumbled. I know, God, Catherine, I know. I will live with that regret forever. I chose the company reputation over your safety. I was a coward and you paid for it. Catherine wanted to scream, but she was too numb. Pay it all back? No, he paid $4 million. Then the payments stopped 8 months ago. When I pushed him, he claimed temporary cash flow issues. I should have looked closer. I should have realized something bigger was at play, the organized crime connections. He needed that stolen money to pay off debts or fund his illegal operation. And when he could not pay you, he had to keep stealing. That is my theory. If I am right, Jonathan's death is not about your interview. It is about him owing money to the wrong people. Criminals do not forgive partners who become a liability. Catherine's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. She checked it. The message was chilling. They will arrest your father in 24 hours unless you do exactly as I say. Come to this address alone 1 hour, Victoria. Catherine showed the text to William, who turned pale. It is a trap. It has to be. But what if it is not? What if she has proof that clears you, Daddy? I cannot let you be arrested for a murder you did not commit. I cannot just sit here. Catherine, listen to reason, Victoria. Cannot be trusted. She helped abuse you. She filmed you. She is currently trying to save her own skin by talking to investigators. Everything she does is for her own gain. If she is calling you now, it is not to help you. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Ma'am, there is someone here to see you. It is urgent, she says. She is Detective Sarah Mitchell from Major Crimes. William stood up fast. Catherine does not speak to police without a lawyer. Actually, Mr. Sterling, I am not here in an official capacity. I said to tell Miss Sterling that she has info on Victoria Castellano. If Miss Sterling does not listen, someone else dies tonight. Catherine and William exchanged a worried look. William nodded, and Marcus stepped aside to let the woman in her mid-40s walk in. She wore jeans and a blazer, her badge on her belt, looking grim. Miss Sterling, Mr. Sterling, thank you. I know this is highly irregular, but you must listen closely. Time is running out, and lives are on the line. William's voice was hard. Are you here to arrest my daughter? No, I am here to warn her. Victoria Castellano, known as Victoria Croft, is not who you think. She is not just a con artist. She is a confidential FBI informant. She has been for 18 months. The room went dead silent. Catherine felt the breath leave her body. What? Victoria was recruited by the FBI after her third husband died under suspicious circumstances. They gave her immunity to infiltrate criminal networks that target the wealthy. Her job was to get close to suspects, gather evidence, and report back. Jonathan Sterling became a target 6 months ago when he was flagged for suspicious money transfers. William found his voice. You are saying Victoria was a fed, that she infiltrated my company, seduced my son-in-law, and watched my daughter get abused. All for an FBI operation? I am saying Victoria was meant to gather evidence against Jonathan. She was never authorized to participate in domestic abuse. That video she filmed. Her handlers did not know until it was seized. When they found out, they were furious. Victoria went rogue and crossed lines she should never have touched. Catherine felt hysteria rising. She got emotionally involved. She laughed while he beat me with a belt. That is what you call involved. Detective Mitchell looked pained. Miss Sterling, I understand your anger. What happened was a crime. regardless of her status as an informant. But I need you to focus on the immediate threat. Victoria contacted you tonight, right? Asked you to meet her? How do you know that? Because she contacted 3 other people with the same message. Different times, different places, but the same setup. She is trying to lure people out and get them alone. Victoria didn't go rogue for love. She was compromised by the crime syndicate she was meant to take down. They clocked her as an FBI agent and turned her into their personal hitwoman. Jonathan S. death? That was about money. It was a warning shot, and you and your father are next. William stepped between Catherine and the detective, eyes flashing. If that S true, where is the FBI? Why is a state detective telling us this? Because the feds don't know I'm here. Digging into Jonathan's death and uncovered Victoria S.'s real story. When I tried to alert her handlers, they shut me down, told me it was need to know, and I didn't need to know that. When it hit me, the FBI is either failing or helping them. They've either lost their asset or they're reusing her to sweep up evidence. Either way, you retargets. Catherine's phone buzzed a text from Victoria. 30 minutes, show up or your father dies tonight, and you'll live with the guilt forever. She is panicking. Mitchell held up her phone. Miss Sterling, text her back. Agree to the meeting. Say you were coming alone, and let my team handle the rest. You want to use my daughter as bait? William's voice was ice. I want to stop Victoria before she kills again. Jonathan's death was just the start. Whoever is pulling her strings wants every loose end from Jonathan's crimes erased. That includes you, Mr. Sterling, thanks to the embezzlement you buried. That also means you, Miss Sterling, as the star witness against her. And there are 3 others we've been trying to reach all morning. Who are they? Catherine whispered. Richard Henley, the investor who was at your house. David Pacheco, his lawyer, and Christine Harding, the assistant who quit after his unwanted advances. All 3 knew his secrets. All 3 got similar texts from Victoria this morning, and all 3 have stopped answering their phones. Catherine broke into a cold sweat. You think they're already gone? We have a tiny window to catch her before she finishes the job and vanishes. The only way is to bait her a meeting with you. But instead of her killing you, she walks into our trap. William shook his head hard. No way. I want to let my daughter be bait for a rogue operation. Then she dies anyway. Mr. Sterling, just slowly you can hire all the guards you want. But if the people behind Victoria want you dead, they will find a way. To Jonathan in a police precinct. Is your penthouse really safer? Catherine looked at her father. She saw the impossible choice, risk her life now, or wait for an attack that could happen any time. She made her choice.
What do I do, Catherine?
No, Daddy, she is right. Hiding won't work. They hit Jonathan in custody. We have to take the fight to them. Detective Mitchell was already alerting her team. The address is a warehouse in Red Hook. It abandoned, perfect for an ambush. We'll surround the perimeter. You'll wear a wire. The second she threatens you or spills who she works for. We move in, and if this goes wrong, William's voice shook with panic. Then I failed the most important job of my life, and I'll regret it forever. But Mr. Sterling, if we don't act, you're dead anyway. This is your only fighting chance. 2 hours later, Catherine sat in an unmarked car near the warehouse. Wire taped to her chest, an earpiece hidden, and pure acid churning in her stomach. Mitchell went over the plan again. Walk in the front. Donna, get clever, don't wander. Go exactly where she tells you. Keep her talking. We need her to name her employers. If you feel unsafe, say the word red and we rush in. But try to wait until we get the intel. What if she's not alone? What if there is a hit squad? We'll adapt. But our sensors show she is alone. Heat signatures confirm only one person inside. No backup in sight. We re-ready. Catherine adjusted the wire, wincing at the sound. Detective, why are you doing this? You're re-risking your badge and your life for us. Mitchell went quiet. 15 years ago, I watched my sister get beaten by her husband. She kept defending him. Then came the call. She was dead. He hit her too hard. I became a cop because of that. When I heard your story, the abuse, the control, I saw my sister. I could save her, but maybe I can save you. Catherine felt tears. I am sorry, so am I. That's why we're going to get justice. Ready, Catherine Watson. She didn't think she'd ever be. But she nodded and stepped into the biting morning air. The warehouse was a tomb of rusted metal and broken glass. Every step felt like a march toward her end, her heart slamming against her ribs. The door was unlocked. She stepped into the rote-filled dark, her eyes adjusted to a single shift of light from a broken roof. Victoria stood there. She looked different, hair pulled back, jeans, and a leather jacket, no more pretenses. She looked like a predator. You actually came. I wasn't sure. Catherine kept her distance, ensuring the team had a line of sight. You said you had info to save my father. I'm here for that, nothing else. Your father's life. Victoria laughed. A hollow, bitter sound, Catherine. Your father's life died when he helped bury Jonathan embezzlement. Did he tell you? About how he knew Jonathan was stealing millions and stayed silent. He told me he was handling it. He was saving face. Sterling Globalist's reputation couldn't survive the son-in-law being a thief. So, William had to deal with the devil. He gave Jonathan time to pay it back. And in return, Jonathan held the evidence of William's complicity over him. That's conspiracy, Catherine. Your father could rot in prison. Is this what this is, blackmail? You're going to expose him unless he pays? I am going to expose him because he deserves it, just like Jonathan deserved to die. Victoria stepped forward. You wanted to know why I laughed that night, why I filmed the beating, because I needed proof of what Jonathan was capable of. I needed the world to understand why he had to die. I gave you justice. I gave you the evidence to destroy him. You should be thanking me. Catherine's blood turned to ice. You killed him.
You poisoned him?
I liberated you. I liberated your father. And I made sure it all pointed to you two. Just like my employers ordered, they wanted the Sterling Empire wiped out. William Sterling's legacy was supposed to crumble under scandal. Who is behind you, Victoria? Who are you serving? Victoria offered a cold, haunting smile. You still don't get it. There are no bosses, no syndicates. It is just me, Catherine. I am just a woman who spent my life watching men like your husband crush women like you. So I chose to act. The FBI thought they were using me to hunt criminals. The joke was on them. I used their cover and their budget to hunt men who needed to die. Jonathan was number 4. Your father is next. The earpiece buzzed with Detective Mitchell's urgent voice. Catherine, say the word now. But Catherine froze. Victoria's confession proved there was no criminal organization. Mitchell's entire case was built on a lie then. Victoria ripped a gun from her jacket so fast that Catherine barely had time to blink before the cold steel pressed against her chest. I am sorry, Catherine. Truly, you deserved better than Jonathan. But you also deserve better than a father who loves money more than his own daughter. The only way to break William Sterling is to destroy the one thing he actually loves, you. The ceiling shattered. Detective Mitchell and his team repelled through the glass, weapons drawn. Drop the weapon! Mitchell roared through the warehouse. Victoria didn't budge. Instead, she jammed the barrel under her own chin, her finger trembling on the trigger. Stay back, or I swear I will do it. Mitchell held up a hand to stop his team, Victoria. Whatever you did, we can talk this through. Just drop the gun. There is nothing to discuss. You heard my confession. You know exactly what I have done, and I am not rotting in a prison cell while some shrinks try to label me as broken or traumatized. I knew what I was doing. Every choice was mine, and I have no regrets. Catherine found her voice, though her whole body shook. Victoria, you said you were doing this for abused women. You kill yourself here, it all becomes meaningless. Those other families never get closure. The women you claim to save won't understand why you did it, and I will never know who Jonathan really was. Please don't do this. Victoria's hand wavered. You want the truth? Jonathan was a coward. He was a thief who tried to play big-time criminal and failed. He borrowed money from dangerous people for a real estate scheme that imploded when he couldn't pay. He started stealing from your father. Once enough, he laundered their money through fake Sterling Global accounts. He was building a case to frame your father and cut a deal to save himself. I found out 3 months ago. That is when I knew he had to die, not because I was compromised, but because I was doing what the feds refused to do. I was protecting you, your father, and everyone Jonathan intended to destroy. Then prove it. Help us clear my father's name, please. A deafening gunshot ripped through the warehouse. Catherine screamed, covering her ears, shutting her eyes, waiting for the worst. But when she looked, Victoria was standing there, gun pointed at the floor, looking completely hollow. I cannot help you. Jonathan's evidence against William is hidden away. Encrypted files, offshore servers, dead drops. He was thorough, he was paranoid. But I can tell you this, Jonathan had a partner. Someone inside Sterling Global helped him build this case. They are still there, still working, waiting to finish what he started, until you find them, Catherine. You and your father are walking targets, Detective. Detective Mitchell moved in slowly. Give me the gun, Victoria. Tell us who the partner is. Let us help you. Victoria looked at Catherine one final time, her eyes filled with a flicker of regret. I don't know who they are. Jonathan never told me. He did not trust me. But I saw the messages, encrypted texts, coded emails. Someone inside your company was feeding him information, helping him build his trap. Find them, Catherine. Find them before they finish the job. She surrendered the weapon. Officers slapped cuffs on her wrists, reading her rights in a cold, clinical tone. As they dragged her away, Victoria shouted back, "The attorney, David Pacheco, is not dead. He is in hiding because he knows who the partner is. Find him and you find your answers. The warehouse cleared out in a blur. Catherine was escorted to the car to give her statement as they removed her wire. Mitchell sat beside her, looking exhausted. That did not go as planned, but we have Victoria and a new lead. Do you actually believe she killed those men to protect you and your father? Mitchell sighed. I think Victoria Castellano is a damaged soul who convinced herself that murder is justice. Think she was helping you? Yes. Does it excuse the bloodshed? Absolutely not. But she is right about one thing. Until we unmask Jonathan's partner, this nightmare continues. Catherine nodded blankly, her mind racing toward the next catastrophe. She survived Jonathan. She survived Victoria. But someone inside the company was still lurking in the shadows, waiting to destroy them both. The war was not over. It was just starting. William was waiting at the penthouse, his face ashen, while Marcus briefed him on the warehouse chaos. Catherine walked right past them to the bar. She poured 3 fingers of whiskey, ignoring the early hour. She downed it in one burning gulp and immediately poured another. Catherine, you should not be drinking on an empty stomach after all this. She turned, glass clutched tight. Victoria killed my husband, she confessed, claiming it was to protect us from his schemes. So tell me, Daddy, how much danger are we really in? Jonathan spent months building a case to frame you, and someone in your own company is helping him finish the job. William's jaw locked. We will find this partner. I am hiring forensic accountants, cybersecurity experts, and the best corporate spies. We will audit every account and every message. Whoever helped him will not stay hidden for long. And while we search, are they just going to wait for us to find them? They know. Victoria confessed. They are probably wiping evidence or running right now. Marcus cleared his throat. Sterling is right. They are in damage control. We need to move. I am pulling security footage from Sterling Global Headquarters. I am flagging anyone who worked late with Jonathan or had unusual access. William's phone rang, piercing the room like a blade. He answered instantly. Sterling, his face drained of color as he listened. When? How long ago? A pause. Lock down the building. No one leaves until security clears them. I will be there in 20 minutes. He hung up and looked at Catherine, his expression making her heart stop. That was building security. Someone just broke into my office at Sterling Global. They hit my private computer and my safe. They knew the codes. They knew the layout. They knew exactly what to take. It has to be Jonathan's partner. They are making their move before we can stop them. Catherine, stay here with Marcus. Don't open the door for anyone. No, I am going with you. Absolutely not. This is dangerous. If they are bold enough to hit my office in daylight, they will do anything, which is exactly why I am not sitting here waiting to die. We are in this together, Dad. You said that when this started. Let us finish it. William looked like he wanted to argue, but Catherine's expression stopped him cold. Fine, you stay by my side. No wandering off, no playing hero. Understood? Understood. They took William's car, Marcus driving with Catherine and her father in the back, silent. The Sterling Global Tower loomed 60 stories over Midtown, a monument to his success, and now the site of his ruin. Police cruisers swarmed the lobby. Officers were questioning staff while security scrambled to keep control. A detective Catherine didn't know approached them. Mr. Sterling? Detective Raymond Chen, IPD, your security chief called about the break-in. We have secured your office, but haven't touched a thing. I need you to confirm what is missing before we process the scene. William nodded curtly and headed for the executive elevator, Catherine and Marcus right behind. The trip to the 60th floor felt endless, only the soft ping of each floor breaking the quiet. When the doors slid open, they were met by 3 guards and a man in a sharp suit, Thomas Crawford, head of corporate security. Sir, whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing. They killed the cameras in this hall between 2:15 and 2:40 this morning. By the time the system reset, they were gone. We only realized the office was breached when the cleaning crew found the door left ajar. The office was a disaster, not a random mess, but methodically searched with surgical precision. Desk drawers hung open. Cabinets were dumped, papers scattered everywhere. The wall safe behind the painting stood wide open, empty. What was in it? Detective Chen asked. Pen ready. Private papers, stock certificates, cash, and a flash drive with encrypted backups of our most sensitive files. M's voice was steady, but Catherine felt the rage vibrating underneath. That drive is useless without the key, which is kept in a separate, secure vault. Unless, Catherine whispered, the person who took it already has that key. Unless they have been inside our security protocols all along. William spun toward Thomas Crawford. Pull the access logs for my office for the last 6 months. I want the name of every person who walked in here while I was gone. Who had the chance to learn my codes and combinations? Crawford typed quickly on his tablet. Sir, only 4 people besides you and your assistant had access. Your attorney, David Pacheco, your CFO, Robert Martinez, head of operations, Jennifer Walsh, and Jonathan Sterling. Catherine felt her blood run cold. David Pacheco, Victoria said he was hiding because he knew the partner. What if he is not hiding? What if he is the partner? William grabbed his phone and dialed straight to voicemail. He tried again. Same result. Thomas, I need David's location. Now, home cell GPS, bank records, everything working on it, sir. His phone pinged in the financial district 2 hours ago, but it's been dark since. His Upper East Side apartment has been empty for 3 days. Credit card activity since Friday morning. Friday, the day after Catherine's interview aired and Jonathan was arrested. William looked at Catherine. He bolted. The second things fell apart because he knew Victoria's confession would lead straight to him. Marcus looked up from his own phone. Sir, I am looking at David's background. He has been your attorney for 12 years? I hired him right after he made partner at his firm. He has handled every major deal for Sterling Global since day one. He knows every confidential secret, every strategy, and every financial move we have ever made. He went deathly pale. If Dave is working against me, he has everything. Every weakness, every secret, all the leverage someone would need to burn this company to the ground. Detective Chen looked up. Mr. Sterling, I need a full list of every file that was on that drive. If Pacheco has it, and he is off the grid, we need to know his next move. His next move is selling to the highest bidder. Competitors, hostile investors, foreign groups, anyone who wants Sterling Global to collapse. William sank into his chair, looking every bit his age. Jonathan's fake evidence claiming I covered up embezzlement. David can play the hero whistleblower. He exposes the corruption. I go to prison, and he walks away. Catherine felt a cold, sharp anger. Then we find him first. We find him, get that drive, and bury every piece of evidence he and Jonathan cooked up. Dad, you built this empire from nothing. You gave thousands jobs and changed lives. We are not letting some backstabbing attorney destroy it all. Crawford's tablet chimed. Sir, I found it. David is paying for a storage unit in Queens under his mother's maiden name. Automatic monthly payments from an offshore account. It is a climate-controlled, high-security facility. The kind of place you keep things you never want found. That is his insurance policy. Copies of everything. Physical proof enough to bury me 10 times over. Wilsham stood up, his weakness gone. Thomas, surround that facility. Hire private security if the police can't move faster. If David shows up, I want him caught. Sir, we can't legally detain him. I don't care about the law right now. I care about stopping the man who is trying to burn down my legacy. Do whatever it takes. Detective Chen stepped in. Mr. Sterling, I get it, but you have to let us handle this by the book. If David Pacheco broke the law, we will arrest him. But you cannot play vigilante. The law didn't stop my daughter from being assaulted in her own home. It didn't stop Jonathan from stealing millions. It didn't prevent Victoria from killing him and framing us. So forgive me if I am not interested in waiting for the law while David Pacheco auctions off my secrets. Catherine grabbed her father's arm. Dad, the detective is right. If we break the law now, we give him the win. We do this smart. We do this clean. We find the proof. We expose him, and we let the court finish him. William stared at her, then gave a slow nod. Yeah, you are right. Thomas, work with the detective, full cooperation. But I want eyes on that unit 24/7, the second David arrives. I want to know. Ready on it. We will have surveillance there in an hour. Catherine's phone buzzed. She expected another threat, but the name on the screen stopped her. Richard Henley, the investor from the night Jonathan attacked her. The one who started this whole nightmare. She answered, voice steady. Mr. Henley, Miss Sterling, thank God I've been trying your father's line all morning. I need to talk to him now. It is about David Pacheco. Catherine put it on speaker. You were on with my father and the police. What about him? He called me an hour ago. He wanted to meet about a lucrative opportunity, said. He had proprietary Sterling Global data that guaranteed massive returns. Miss Sterling, I think he is trying to sell your secrets, and I suspect I am not the only one he has called. William leaned into the speaker. Richard, it is William. Did you agree to meet? I stalled him, but he sounded desperate, Mannix. Said this was a limited-time deal and he had to move before certain information went public. I think he is running out of time. Did he say where he is calling from? No, but it was a blocked number. I heard background noise, traffic, car horns, and a ferry horn. If I had to guess, he's near the waterfront. Detective Chen was already shouting orders into his radio. Check every ferry terminal and pier if he is running. He is trying to get out of the city by boat. William thanked Richard and hung up. He had to vanish. Take the drive. Secure the evidence. We had mere hours before he was gone. Marcus, silent until now, spoke up. Sir, what if David isn't running? What if he's meeting someone? A buyer, an accomplice? Jonathan was his partner and Jonathan is dead. But Jonathan had deep criminal ties. What if David is selling what Jonathan promised? The thought hit the room like poison gas. If David was dealing with organized crime, this wasn't just corporate espionage anymore. This had turned into something lethal. Catherine's phone buzzed, unknown number. She read the text and went cold. Catherine Sterling, you and your father need to back off. Stop digging or face the consequences. This is your only warning. She handed it to her father and Detective Chin. The detective pushed for a trace, but they knew it would be a burner. A ghost number. They were threatening her directly now. It's a major escalation. They were scared. William turned to Marcus. Get Catherine to a safe house somewhere untraceable. I'm not hiding while this goes down, Catherine. These people murdered Jonathan. They won't hesitate to hurt you. Please go with Marcus while I handle this. She could protest. Thomas Crawford's tablet pinged. Sir, we have a hit. David Pacheco just used his card at a gas station in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Same area as Victoria's warehouse. Detective Chin moved for the door. That's coincidence. Yes, meeting someone. We go now. William grabbed his coat. I'm coming, sir. This is a police operation. You have to stay back. That man holds my company. Yes, future, I'm not sitting here. Take me, or I'll follow in my own car. Looked ready to fight it, but nodded. Fine, stay in the car. No interfering. Agreed? Agreed. Catherine grabbed her father's arm, coming too. You said, we re-in this together. We've finished this together. I am in. They hit Red Hook in 27 minutes. Marcus drove with the sharp, precise intensity of a soldier. 3 unmarked cars had already surrounded a rotting warehouse on the waterfront, the kind of place where city secrets go to die. Chen coordinated via the radio, his tone steady. Target vehicle is a black Mercedes. 2 heat signatures inside, 1 near the door, 1 deeper in. Approach with caution. The suspect is armed and dangerous. William sat rigid, fists clenched. Catherine reached over and squeezed his hand. He squeezed back. She felt the crushing weight of it, all the betrayal, the violence, the murder. It all came down to this cold warehouse, the place where their legacy would be saved or burned to the ground. Tactical teams moved in with chilling precision. Catherine watched from the car as shadows converged on the building. Chen's radio crackled. Front entrance secure. Moving in contact. We have eyes on the suspect. Then a gunshot. The sound shattered the silence and William flinched. Marcus cursed and reached for his weapon. The radio turned into a chaotic blur. Officer down, suspect armed, fall back, get medics in here. Stay in the car, Marcus snapped, already jumping out. Don't move, no matter what. He locked the doors from the outside and vanished. They were helpless, trapped as chaos erupted 50 yards away. Catherine saw officers taking cover, windows shattering, and ambulance lights cutting through the dark. This is my fault, William whispered, his voice hollow. I trusted David. I gave him everything. I let him into my company, my home, and he used it to destroy me. No, this is on Jonathan and David. It is the fault of every soul who chose greed over honor. But it is not your fault, Daddy. You did what you believed was right. You tried to handle the embezzlement quietly to save your employees. You couldn't have known your own lawyer was plotting against you. Another shot rang out, then 3 more in a burst. Catherine's heart hammered against her ribs like a trapped bird. She couldn't see the fight, couldn't hear the specifics, just prayed nobody else died because of the nightmare her life had become. After what felt like an eternity, Detective Chen appeared at the window. Marcus unlocked the doors and Chen slid in, his face grim. We have David in custody, he opened fire. But thank God, nobody was hit. He's being moved to booking now. And the drive, the stolen evidence? We found a laptop bag, processing it now. But it looks like everything you need is inside. Mr. Sterling, we have to follow procedure to return your property. But whatever David was planning, he has finished. William closed his eyes, pure relief washing over him. Who was the other person? Who was David meeting? Chen's expression soured. Where this gets complicated. The other person claims his FBI says she's been running an undercover operation on David and Jonathan for 8 months. Catherine felt a cold, sharp dread. Who is she? What her name? Agent Sarah Morrison. And yes, we checked. She's legit. Which means the FBI has known about this operation for 8 months and stayed silent. They didn't warn you. They didn't warn Sterling Global. They let the violence happen. Watched it all unfold. William's voice trembled with rage. They used my daughter's abuse as a cover. They let Jonathan beat her. They let Victoria infiltrate our home. They let David steal everything just to build a case against some money launderers. Is that what you telling me? That's the situation, sir. Agent Morrison claims intervening would have blown a much larger case. She calls it regrettable but necessary. Catherine felt her soul shatter. Breaking she felt when Jonathan hit her. This was different. This was the death of her last shred of faith in the system. The FBI knew. They knew everything, and they just watched. They watched because her suffering was just acceptable collateral damage for their career goals. I want to see her. I want to look her in the eye and hear her explain how my husband beating me was necessary. Chen hesitated. Miss Sterling, I don't care about your comfort, detective. I want to see the woman who decided my abuse was the price of her promotion. Chen looked at William, who nodded once. My daughter wants answers. Take us to her. They were led inside, past the flashing lights and forensics teams, to a makeshift room where a woman in her 40s sat, her badge on display, her eyes empty of all humanity. She stood up as they entered, hand out like she was at a board meeting. Mr. Sterling, Miss Sterling, Agent Sarah Morrison. I understand you have questions. Catherine ignored the hand. You knew Jonathan was abusing me. You had Victoria right there, watching it all happen on camera. Did nothing, Miss Sterling. You were upset. Not upset, enraged, disgusted. I am standing here facing a federal agent who watched a woman get beaten and did nothing because it was inconvenient. Agent Morrison kept a blank stare. Victoria Castellano was not authorized to film that assault. She went rogue. That video was never meant to exist. We were already planning her extraction, but you knew Jonathan was violent. You knew he was dangerous. You left me with him anyway because money laundering charges mattered more than a domestic violence victim. Sterling, if we moved earlier, we would have tipped off the entire network. They would have vanished and destroyed evidence. We would have lost years of work and dozens of indictments. I am sorry you were hurt, but the greater good requires difficult choices. Catherine felt her father's hand on her shoulder, anchoring her. William's voice was ice. Agent Morrison, I will make sure every major news outlet knows the Federal Bureau of Investigation knowingly allowed my daughter to be abused just to protect their case. I will make your name a symbol for total institutional failure. Then I will sue the federal government for every cent they have for their gross negligence. When I am done, the only job you will be qualified for is security guard at a local mall agent. Morrison's mask slipped. Mr. Sterling, threatening a federal agent is a crime. That is not a threat. It is a promise. You traded my daughter's safety for your career. Now I am going to end that career. A fair trade. They walked out. Catherine shook. William held her tight. Detective Chen followed, clearly ashamed of his own agency. For what it is worth, what the FBI did was unconscionable. I filed a formal complaint with the Inspector General. It does not fix what happened, but maybe it stops them from using human suffering as a tactic. Catherine nodded, unable to speak. They drove back to Manhattan in total silence, the weight of the day pressing down like a physical blow. David Pacheco was in custody. The drive was back. Agent Morrison was exposed. Victoria waited for trial. Jonathan was dead. The conspiracy was over. Yet Catherine felt no victory, just exhaustion. Back at the penthouse, William poured drinks. They sat as the sun dipped below the skyline. Maria brought food. They barely touched it. The television played silent news clips of David Pacheco in handcuffs. Headlines screaming about corporate greed and massive federal corruption. It is over, William said finally. Is it, though? David and Victoria will go to trial. Months of testimony, reliving every horrific second. The investigation goes public. Our name dragged through the mud. Sterling Global will suffer. This is not over, Daddy. This is just a different kind of nightmare, but you are safe. That is all I care about, safe and free. You never have to fear Jonathan again. We will survive the trials and the media. We will get through this together. Catherine thought about that word, survive. She had been surviving for 6 long years, surviving his abuse, his control, a marriage that was killing her. She was done surviving. She wanted to live. She wanted to reclaim the woman she was. Before Jonathan broke her, she would turn her deep pain into real purpose. Daddy, I meant what I said about the Sterling Foundation. I want to help other women escape the life I just left. I want to use our resources to make sure no woman ever feels that hopeless again. William smiled, his first genuine warmth in days, and then we do it. We build a foundation that actually changes lives. And Catherine, I want you to run it, not as a face for charity, but as a leader. Run it, like you would run a company with vision, strategy, and the power to change the world. What about Sterling Global? Do you not need me there? The company has plenty of executives for daily operations. It lacks a Sterling willing to fight for those without a voice. That is you, Catherine. That is who you have always been, despite what Jonathan told you. You are a fighter, so fight for something that actually matters. Catherine felt tears on her cheeks, not sadness, but relief, the first spark of hope. She had survived the nightmare. She had watched her abuser face a twisted, final form of justice she never expected. Now she could transform her suffering into a lifeline for others. 3 months later, Catherine stood before a packed room of journalists and advocates to announce the launch of the Sterling Foundation. The room was bright and modern, designed for strength and empowerment. Behind her stood her father, Maria, Detective Mitchell, and 3 women who were the foundation's first clients. Women who had finally escaped their own abusers using the foundation's legal and financial support. The Sterling Foundation exists because I survived, Catherine said, her voice clear. I survived because I had resources most women lack. I had money, power, and the best legal team. But I also survived because one man, Richard Henley, made a call when he saw something wrong. Because Detective Sarah Mitchell believed my story and fought for justice. Because even in the darkest hours, some people refused to look away. She paused, looking at the crowd, seeing reporters and her father's proud smile. No woman should need a billionaire father to escape domestic violence. No woman should wait for her husband to be arrested or dead to be free. The Sterling Foundation provides everything I had access to for women who need it most. Legal representation, emergency housing, financial aid, security, and therapy. Whatever it takes to help a woman build a new life. The applause was thunderous. Catherine was lost in thought. She remembered herself 6 months ago, broken on her own floor. She thought of Victoria in prison, her crusade for justice curdling into murder. She thought of Jonathan, dead from a poison that masqueraded as justice, but was really just dark revenge. She thought of David Pacheco facing decades for his crimes. She thought of Agent Morrison, quietly sidelined for her failure to act. But mostly, she looked toward the future. She focused on the women she would save, knowing that true power comes not from money, but from surviving hell and choosing to reach back. To ensure others did not have to endure those same flames, she had been Catherine the wife, then the victim. Now she was simply Catherine, a woman who had reclaimed her voice and her purpose. She would never be silenced again. The nightmare ended. The real work began.